Good morning, crafty friends. It's Diane with Bean Street Paper, and I'm back with a super easy card design that you can use for any occasion. I'm not really sure if you're a member of the group, you have seen it, but if you've seen this design that I am absolutely in love with. So here's one of the cards that I made for Christmas, and it has this cute little spot for you to write what you need to write. And then that's covered up when you close the card. Super simple, super easy. And here's another one I made, just a thank you card. Same thing. You have a spot to write stuff, and then it's covered up when you close the card. And I put the embellishment on the opposite side on this one. This one was on the left, and I decided to put this one on the right just for a little something different. So we're gonna make one of these today. I've already gone and prepped some stuff, but I'm not really quite sure how this is gonna go together. So you know, it's gonna be a fun time. I've cut some pieces of paper. Now, having said all that, I've come to a realization about myself this weekend, and that is that I am not Stampin' Up. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but I'm a hobby demonstrator. There is no way that I can hard sell people into buying stuff. I love their product, some of their products. You know, I'm not really into all the floral stuff, and they seem to have a lot of that, but I do love some of their stamp sets. So I'm not going to stop using and being a hobby demonstrator, but I am not going to try to do Stampin' Up videos and stuff like that. So you will see me using some Stampin' Up, but again, like, this paper is die cuts with a view. I have so much paper. Okay. So, little side note there. So, first things first, you're gonna cut your card base. You're gonna cut it out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You're gonna cut it at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side and score at 5.5. Okay. And then you're gonna take one side and cut off 1.5 inches. Okay. So that leaves you with a 4 by 4 1/4 piece here, which will be the front of your card. Okay. Now, I've picked two papers that I thought coordinated out of this paper pack, and I'll show you what I'm using. It's this Holly Jolly paper pack by Die Cuts with a View. It's from last year. I have so much paper. I'll never use it all before I die. But anyway. Now, everybody's like, oh, Stampin' Up coordinates really well. Okay, well, these are Die Cuts with a View paper. This is Stampin' Up cardstock. This is also Stampin' Up cardstock, and I still think it coordinates really well. So you can use other things. Okay, enough about that. So your inside sheet is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. I'll put all these measurements down below, of course. Your outside sheet is going to be 4 this way by 3 3/4 this way, and you want to pay attention to the way your designs are going. So I'm going to glue these pieces together, and we're going to set this aside real quick. I also have two, you need two, one for the inside and one for the outside, scalloped pieces that I die cut. Now, you can just use squares. You don't have to die cut them. You can just cut rectangles, squares, circles, whatever you want to use. Ovals would be really cool. This particular one is 2.5 by 3 3/4. Now, I tried to use a bigger one, and I just thought it covered up too much of the card. Maybe if you have a lot to say, I don't know. I just like it with the smaller one, so that's what I've been using. Sorry. So let's glue our card stock together here. I don't know if you've noticed, you know I love my small, tiny little borders, but I went with 1/4-inch borders this time. Do you believe it? I don't believe it. I am a sucker for die cuts with a view paper. I love it. I love all paper. Don't. All paper is good paper. But I love die cuts with a view. Okay. So now I'm gonna take my one insert and glue it inside, and then I'm just gonna set this aside for a minute while I try to figure out how I'm gonna do my embellishment. You just want to center this in the middle of your card insert. Okay, and I'm going to put this aside under my block so that it dries flat. Okay, now I have these pieces. This is going to be my front piece. Okay, I know which sentiment I want to use, so let's stamp that real quick. Yeah, should have peeled this off and got it ready beforehand so you guys didn't have to listen to crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. This sentiment is wishing you a season decorated with happiness and wonder. And I think I'm just gonna stamp it right here. So, let me get everything I need for that. I think I'm gonna use a green. Let's do, I mean, I could use a red. Let's use green. I like green. Okay. Now, it's the first time I'm using this stamp set, so I am going to stamp it on. See, I thought about die cutting pieces, so this was my scrap, and coloring them, but then I didn't. I want to test it a couple times and make sure it's going to be perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna center this up right here in the middle. I don't want to press too hard because I got it all goopy on the corner there. I'm just gonna give it a second. While that's sitting there, I'm gonna close this up before I get it everywhere. That happens frequently. Very, very frequently. Oh, I've been looking for that block. Whew. Okay, perfect. Look at that. All right. So, clean my stamp. Okay, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, this is what I meant when I said, let's see how this comes together. I did die cut some pieces that I wanted to, I may have been a little overzealous here. I really wanted this to be in gold foil because the front of the card does have some gold foil. See that gold foil? So I thought, oh, it'd be really cool. I couldn't find a piece of gold foil cardstock anywhere. So there's that. I think I'm gonna put this one up a little bit higher, and maybe I'll just do 2. Or maybe even just a little bit higher like that. Let's do that. So I'm gonna do not a whole lot of glue here, just a little bit, and I'm gonna glue that right here. Now, before I go putting my ornaments on, I'm gonna take my scissors and trim this kind of around the if I regret that. It would stick off the end of the card. I'm gonna leave that on there till I see what it looks like when I lay it back. Okay. These guys are gonna go, I think I'm just gonna do this. Again, I thought to myself I'd pop these up on Pop Dots, but can you imagine how much of a nightmare that will be with this? So I think I'm just gonna, maybe I'll go the bell. The bell and the, now. Then I thought, well, I'll tie these onto this sprig. Okay, well, that's not happening. So, so here we are. We do want them to be different, different like heights. I want them to be different. So I'm gonna try to smush this guy up into the bow there. Just like that. And glue him down, okay? And then this one I want to be lower. However, it's really gonna bother me if there's no string. How about I draw it in later with the pen as soon as I find a black pen? All right, let's go that route. I will draw it in later as soon as I find a black pen. I really need to get one of those glue pots with the sponge in it. I need to make myself one of those. All right, and this one's gonna go, I'm gonna put this one down here. I'm gonna put it down here. I'm gonna put it barely hanging off so that it's a different, different elevation. Let's go that route. Okay, now let's get our base back in here and I can move that. Okay. And this is just gonna go right here. So I think I'm gonna glue this back on. I know that's crazy, right? I think I am. I was a little overzealous cutting that off, but I'm gonna glue it back on and then I'm gonna just trim it right here. So let me glue on this first. Only do the side that's going to be attached, not all the way to the end. Okay, so you're gonna hold this down and marry up this first, right? And then you're gonna press the rest of your card down. Okay, and I'm gonna cheat and put this back on. I decided I liked it. The next one I make, I'll just leave it alone. Oh, I'm throwing stuff everywhere. Okay. And spin this card to make it easier. You won't even be able to tell, y'all. See that? And then I'm just gonna trim it right there. Kerchow. Now, I like it. I like it a lot. It's got just enough bling without having any bling on it, but you know, the gold foil paper does that. I'm gonna add bling anyway. Also, I still have this. I can put this guy in here. So why not? Should put him at a jaunty little angle, like, nah, like he's laying, you know how Christmas bulbs lay. We won't. We'll just do that. Again, as soon as I find a black pen, I have a blue one, but I don't have a black one, I'll draw a string. I'm gonna draw a string. You could put bows on these. I think I'm just gonna leave it like it is and maybe put some, let's do 1, 2, 3 tiny little somethings. Let's do these tiny little somethings. I like them. All right, and there you have it. There's our card. Kind of saw my process, how I finagle as I go. But there it is. I think I'm going to glue this down just a wee bit. Okay. Again, I will be adding a string right there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I am not necessarily making a whole lot of 10-minute Tuesdays right now because my time is kind of torn into a bunch of different places with my husband gone and stuff, but I am trying to make some content for you guys. I would love to be able to do live videos. I'm really close. I have like 850 subscribers. You need 1,000 before you can go live on Facebook or on YouTube, sorry. So without further ado, I hope you all have a super crafty day. Go forth and create, my friends. Bye for now.